Hello, everyone. Welcome to 2D Board Gamers. My name is Dave.
I'm Dirk. Okay, what's the surprise?
Okay, yeah. So
He won't tell me.
yeah, this is so FFG had a live stream Thursday, talking
Okay.
talking about the state of the LCG line, i.e., Arkham Horror and Marvel Champions, and they're making some changes. And I have mixed feelings about it, and I'm going to be curious to see what your feelings are. But first, um, this is not a mixed feelings. Both Agents of Shield and Drowned City Investigator box is delayed a couple weeks because there were some issues in the port. So
Yeah, we've not had
that's
a lot of luck with ports apparently this year
yeah,
because our cruise had a port issue as well. So
right. And that's beyond FFG's control. So
yeah,
I don't have a problem with that. And also, they said the Drowned City campaign is delayed till April because there were some production
the
issues.
Ground City port. Did it get around at the port?
Yeah, apparently. But no, so what the big focus was the changes that they're going to do. So, for example, let's talk Marvel Champions. The Captain America Hero Pack and the Doctor Strange Hero Pack are out of print, and
Okay.
they've been out of print for a long time.
Yeah, that's been a couple of years at
Yeah.
least.
So what they're saying now is that they're not going to reprint those.
Okay.
They're kind of doing a new policy, um, where if things go out of print, they're going to let it go out of print, and then they could readdress it later on, like maybe they retool them, or some of the cards from old products can come into new products, which we've seen in Marvel, where
Right.
we've done reprints and stuff. But the card pool has gotten so big that they feel that it's overwhelming for new players. That's their justification. And the amount of space that stores would have to dedicate to the games. So they're doing, and this is, well, from what I understand, this is similar to, like, say, what Magic does, where they're going to only kind of support products from the last 2 or 3 years, and then anything older than that, they're calling it legacy. Now, they claim that what this does is it opens up more development ideas because they don't have to, because, like, as we know, the villains in Marvel Champions have gotten harder and harder,
Right.
and they kind of was doing that because the card pool is getting bigger and bigger.
Okay.
And so that's kind of overwhelming newer players, I guess. They're going to come up with some rulings, I guess, for, like, if you want to play legacy mode and if you want to play the current mode. So from what I understand of Magic, they kind of do that too, where they retire older cards. They're not legal in
Yeah,
currently
so
played.
well it depends on the type of game you're playing. They've got different they've got stuff that will support pretty much
Right.
things all the way going back to
Yeah.
later. So
So they're not saying that you're not allowed to play, like Arkham. If you've got Return to Night of the Zealot cards, which those return to boxes were amazing, and they stopped doing that,
yeah.
a while ago. So if you want to have the upgraded backpack, that's a great card. They are going to say that if you're playing with cards that are more than 2 or 3 years old, then you're playing the legacy version of the game, which you might have a different experience than the current. Um, you know,
Okay, so for Arkham in specific, how's that going to affect their taboo list? Have they stated?
I mean, that's how they've been. Arkham has kind of been doing this for a while because they taboo older cards, and I think what the main thing is, they say it opens up where they're going to balance to the current card pool, which, i.e., 2 or 3 years old.
Okay.
And then, like I said, if you want to play with the older stuff, you can, but you're going to have a different experience. And the reason for that is, then they say they can balance the campaigns better. They don't have to constantly go up this mountain of ramping the difficulty up to meet the, make it challenging, especially Arkham, because Arkham, you want to be on what they call the knife's edge. you know um Arkham is supposed to be tough, and so then
Right.
when you beat it, then you have, you a sense of accomplishment. So in a way, I guess if they're lowering the difficulty a little bit and you play with the legacy cards, then I wouldn't call it a cheat per se, but it's not the current spirit of the game, I guess. And I think that's what the taboo list has kind of shown that,
Right.
recently. What I'm hoping for, especially for Marvel Champions, and for like, because I kind of feel sorry for the new players. I can understand where, okay, they're saying you have to spend a lot of money to catch up, and you would. And I know that from when I got into Arkham, when I went back and got all the older products. But the I hope that they do like a print and play of the hero packs that are out of print. So if people want them, so then you don't have to go around FFG,
Well,
like go to Arkham DB or, or Marvel CDB and print out the cards.
right.
We're not um we're not saying to do that. And so I'm really hoping that like FFG will, and get better images if you get them from
Right. So yeah, I mean, if
FFG,
they
kind of like the Kree Fanatic print and play. That
yeah,
was,
if they give you some way to actually be able to utilize the content, I mean, if they're not going to reprint it, then I don't see the problem with making it available as a print and play.
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
The print and play, and then but so then they said they said they can go back and like they mentioned Captain America and Doctor Strange specifically, that they might, like it opens up the door for them to do a new Captain America or Doctor Strange. I'm actually hoping they readdress Hulk, at some point.
Yeah.
Um,
So they're not going to reprint any of the older stuff, not even the original
well,
base set.
if it sells, no, the core box is still always going to be
Okay.
available for both games. So the core set will. If this is to avoid doing a second edition, which if that was the other choice, then I agree with this decision. Like, because I would not want a second edition, that's not compatible with with all the cards we have or
Right.
something, and they redo everything. So I'm glad of that. The other thing they mentioned for Marvel Champions specifically is that they're going to go away from the trilogies. Um, which I kind of like the trilogies personally, but that's okay. That's not because they had the Infinity Stone trilogy was the first three campaign boxes,
Right.
and then the Mutant trilogy was the last three.
Yeah. I mean, I could see them moving away from it, because that gives them a lot more
Right,
developmental freedom right
right,
there. Because not all of the stories that they necessarily want to do would fit into a larger,
right.
trilogy like that.
And if you were not a fan of the X-Men for some reason, there's 3 years worth of products that you didn't get into,
Yeah.
and that would be a whole cycle in this case. So what this does is it allows them to jump around more. So like, well, we went to Shield, so I don't know if the Shield Agents of Shield was under this new idea or not, but then they could like do an Avenger pack, or they could do a Guardian pack again. They could just kind of bounce around the different parts of the Marvel universe.
So are they still talking? So are they changing the way they're doing it now? At least with Marvel, like it's got campaigns
they're
and
still they're
a couple
still
of sets.
they're still doing that. So there's still going to be a campaign box and a set of heroes that's related to it.
Okay.
But that's, and they also said that they want more products more frequently. So that's why they've expanded the team. On the live stream. They not this last one, but the couple one, they introduced two new designers that are they're so Tony gave a lot of previews without going into specifics. So, like he said that Michael Boggs came back for a project. He also said that uh, Caleb's last project is still is still to come, and then the first project with the new developers is in the works right now as well. So he's hinting that the game is not going to die.
Right.
There's quite a bit of content that's still coming, and this policy, you'll see it rolling. Nate French, who's the original designer of Lord of the Rings, Arkham, and Marvel Champions, is going to do an article, and they're going to go into specifics for when, you know, this. And they said for like, and us, we're not going to notice anything different because we have everything. Where you're going to notice it different is if you do not own everything. And predictably, the Captain America, and the Doctor Strange packs on eBay price just, as soon as they made the announcement.
Right.
So
So
that's that. To me, that's the really bad news is that scalpers. It's a scalper's paradise.
yeah, yeah, it's like with Magic, the secondary market is ridiculous.
Right. But so like Arkham, I don't know. I mean, each Arkham pack, we've gotten some brand new investigators to the Arkham files, and there's still a few Arkham investigators from the Arkham files that hasn't shown up yet.
Right.
But what that can allow is, and we've had parallel investigators for a while, print and play. So it could be something where, you might get like the 2027 version of Roland might come out, in a future product, and it'd be similar to Roland Banks from the core game, but different.
Right. So I guess one of the concerns that I have, if they're going with some of this, they're talking about, maybe using this as an opportunity, with some of the newer product to reintroduce older cards or whatever. It's what's that going to do as far as are they going to start being more repeats?
That's my fear. I mean, we've had some products that had a lot of reprints, like Spider Ham had a lot of reprinted cards. I mean, it did come up with the Overwatch, which was a great card.
Right.
But most of his kit was reprinted cards, and you, I guessing, but that's the other thing that they mentioned as well is some of the cards that like say, Doctor Strange is out of print. Okay, obviously, so maybe a protection hero down the line, they take the protection cards from Doctor Strange and they reprint them, or they said this gives them an opportunity to tweak them too.
Right.
So like especially like errata, it'd be nice to get the errata version of some of these cards. But I have a feeling we might start getting a taboo list for Marvel Champions like we did with Arkham, you know. So I like the idea that it says it gives them more creative feeling of freedom, which is good. But I don't like the fact that there's stuff that's just not going to be available for new players.
Right.
Now, what does that mean for our channel? Well, we probably are going to, when we build decks, we will build decks with, probably the
With
full
what we have available.
what we have available. It is possible that, and if there's comments, like maybe we'll do some games with just the current card pool, that which could be interesting. It'd be like, okay, we're playing up against, you know, uh, this new villain that comes out, and we decide that, all right, well, for this game, let's just play with the cards that came out in the last 2 or 3 years, and that would be for the new fans,
Right.
you know. And so if that's something that people want to see, I would still like the freedom to play with, the original cards as well. But I can definitely see us doing some videos where maybe we play with just the current
Well, I
card
mean,
pool.
for the most part, I mean, it's kind of just the natural evolution of the game. We tend to play with mostly newer cards, anyways, the majority of the time.
Yeah, yeah, and actually most of the old cards for yeah, with a few exceptions came in the core box, like the helicarriers in the core box,
Right.
and the Maria ally and the Nick Fury ally, those are from the core box, and so those are always going to be available. It's just that, maybe downtime and endurance could go away at some point for a while. But not every single old product is going away. If it sells, they'll still keep it going. Um, and it sounds like this is kind of a slow rollout. And like I talked to my FLGS after the stream, because they commented where they said, well, the sales don't justify making another print run, or the potential sales don't justify the print run for, say, Doctor Strange. But when I mentioned that to a couple of the people at our game store, they went, "We have enough people that ask for Doctor Strange that they to justify a print run. You know?
Well, the other thing, even if I mean, and what could even potentially is maybe have print on demand. I mean, and
Yeah,
understand it would be a higher price.
right.
Not the not print to play, but print on demand. It would be potentially a higher price to do that because you do, you know, basically it'd be a custom print run. But
Right.
if people are still willing to pay for it, if they still want it,
Yeah.
it's better than going to the scalpers,
Right.
to the
Yeah. Yeah.
secondary
Yeah.
market.
I was going to bring that. Yeah. That was one of my ideas to kind of keep that going. And they could also have something on the Asmodee page,
Or
for wanting. I mean, there's some of the store sites that I've been on where you could get on a waiting list, and for when the product comes back, kind of thing. And if FFG, if Asmodee's site did that, and then they got enough, they could justify a limited print run, and maybe they'll say, okay, well, we have enough people that we're going to charge you $30 for this pack, that normally costs 13 or whatever. But that's better than paying $300 on eBay.
well, another potential
And
thing.
it could be and then you're risking with eBay hoping that it's a real copy and not that someone made a copy, a fake copy of the cards.
Right, because I was going to say because there's uh, proxy sites and stuff that do proxy cards for all kinds of games, and you can you don't have to choose just like Magic or Yu-Gi-Oh or something, but they'll do it for almost any game, and you can make custom cards and stuff and
Yeah,
print them out. And there is a slight difference in the quality though. Some
sure.
are pretty high quality, but some of them, there's a bit of a difference in the quality, and you'd be able to tell. So I mean, this if they would do a print run of it themselves, or even partner with somebody like I don't know if they still do it, but I think Drive By Gaming used to do stuff like that,
Yeah.
to where you could get cut, you could
They
print individual cards and stuff
I mean,
for
they did
games.
that with Arkham. They had
Right,
the original Parallel Investigators. They had it with the Game Center, which is
right,
the store that was right there by their offices. Used to print out the Parallel Investigators, and so that would be kind of nice if they did, if they coordinated something like that. But I could see like a print on demand where they charge a little bit more, but you know I I would like I would like everybody to be able to get any card that comes in the games.
right.
And they say it's overwhelming right now for if you're new to Marvel Champions or Arkham even probably more so. It's been out longer, but it's a little overwhelming for a new player to get into the game right now. And maybe that's true. Like on the cruise, I taught some people Marvel Champions, and they had a few hero packs and they had the core set,
Well,
and they seemed to enjoy it, and they said they definitely want to play it, and get more products.
right. See, the other concern I have though, it's like if they start doing well, like having stuff roll out of print or whatever. What happens to somebody who wasn't aware of the game at the time that was in print? They find out later, and their favorite hero is no longer in print.
Yeah,
They may not ever be able, and they might walk away from the game at that point
right.
because like, well, I can't get the hero I want.
Right. Or we'll take Marvel CDB. You find a deck that you really like that somebody on the community have posted, and then you find out that 10 of the cards you can't get because they're from packs that are out of print.
Right, but they
And I run
they could
in
actually.
Lord of the Rings. I ran in, because I don't have the old, I only have the stuff that's been reprinted. So like on Rings DB, I personally have run into that where I found cards that aren't available to
Well,
me.
see that is as far as on the it's not their website, they don't run it, but the people who run Marvel CDB, or you could do it with the Lord of the Rings one as well, but you could actually write it to where it's a flag in the database, and so whenever it pulls up the deck, it would actually show you
Oh, they do.
which cards do
They do. I mean, if you yeah, they have it where they'll put a question mark. I think it's a question mark if you don't own the card, because if you enter your collection, and I pick a deck, say from
well, no, I mean to
I
where
pick
it's
a deck from say Web Warrior Fanatic, and he has everything, and I only have the current pool, and then he's got 5 cards that are from Legacy.
right, but
Those are going to show up as a question
but
mark.
but slightly different though. I'm talking about like to where I have a separate flag for ones that are the sets out of print.
Oh, yeah,
to where it's one you could still have it or whatever, but it would tell you whether or not the set was out of print when you look at the deck. So
yeah, that would be a little bit more coding on
it would be, yeah.
on their part, but yeah, maybe they'll do something like that. It. So I'm not pushing a panic button or anything. I'm just kind of letting people know that, and there is a link. There'll be a link in the description for the FFG's live stream, and I recommend you watching that and hear it because it's an interview with Tony from Marvel Champions, Duke from Arkham, the head of the studio, and then their PR person. Um, and it was an interesting chat. They also Tony also mentioned that Thursday there'll be an article for the next hero, and they showed an image of who the hero is. Well, they showed a blow up of part of the person's shoulder and the hand.
Yeah, you have
But
to figure out who it is by their hand.
well, I could show you the picture. Everyone pretty much figured out who it is.
Oh, okay.
And I could say, but I'll leave it as a mystery if you for people who want to check the check it out. But yeah, so we're gonna try to arrange a live stream Thursday and to go over the article like we've been trying to do. So, anyways, this was just well, not that quick, I guess. This is just a video, kind of the state of both Marvel and Arkham, and the changes that are coming. I if if it frees up more development and they don't have to make the game harder for each expansion, and it gives them more freedom for on the design side, then I think that's good. I just think it's bad that they're not giving an option for people who don't own these products to be able to get them. I feel that okay, you can balance it for legacy and current, but the legacy stuff they should have an avenue for people to get the legacy stuff.
Right.
And like I said, print and play would be perfect. Print on demand is another option, and or both. For that matter, you could have print and play, and then you could have a survey on some site that FFG or Asmodee has, and you're like, oh, okay, when we get 100 people that sign this signature, we'll do a print on demand run or something. Um,
Yeah.
it's definitely something that can be done. But anyways, so this is kind of an unusual video, but we just wanted to let the public know what's going on. So thank you for watching, everyone. Please like and subscribe.